I mean, how much fucking cash did we make you on Saturday? It's ridiculous. The profit hit like 2 max profit plays. He was up like 3.6 something units. And then I absolutely fucking went off on your ass. I did both elites. That's 2 days in a row that I did the elites and 2 days in a row that I went perfecto. How do you like them fucking apples? How about I give you the Phillies, and they had lost 10 in a row. They hadn't won since April 13th. But they won last night, didn't they? I got it done against the Braves in Atlanta in extra innings, and then I gave you the Knicks -1.5. That cashed, and then I did the profit plays and went 2-1 on those. The only game I got wrong was the Nuggets, and they were leading at the half, and they couldn't beat a team without Ann Edwards or DiVincenzo. What the fuck? Like, they couldn't deal with the Timberwolves and the Sumo and got their ass whacked. They're down 3-1 now, but I hit the Padres. They were down 4-0 in Mexico City. But they won 6-4, and Miller closed the door again. Mason Miller, 34 2/3 innings without allowing a run. Once they got to the ninth up 6-4, I knew it was time to close the door. And then how about the Wild? I cashed that ticket for you as well. They were down 2-1. They scored with 4 minutes left. And then they won with about a minute left in overtime. And 3-2, they get it done. And we cashed that ticket. So I gave you 5 plays. I hit 4 of them. So overall, we were 6-1 on Saturday. Made you fat stacks, a boatload of cash. How do you like me now? Anyway, the Prophet's got me doing this different now. I'm using a different camera. He's got all these fucking rules I gotta follow. And it's just not my normal, style. I usually do it in the studio, which I'm in now, obviously you can see. But I usually use a different camera and everything else. And this is like what it's like for me when I'm on the road. Like when I was in Miami, I got, that camera going. I got this phone going. I got 34C's phone I got to do this with. But I'm not a pussy, so I'm still going to do it. I'm just going to do it. Because the Prophet sent me this really fancy magnetic phone stand that I've never had or heard of. And I don't know how to work anything technologically speaking. I'm a fucking doofus in that department. I can't figure out anything with technology ever. Technology sucks, even though it's kick-ass. So, I get it done either way. He gets me this magnetic stand. I'm using it, and hopefully this works. So let's go back to Saturday and everything that happened. They had a UFC fight night, and the main event, Sterling beat Zalal, and no one gives a shit about either one of them. How's that sound? I don't watch chick basketball. I just wanted to say that. I don't have time. I gave you yesterday on Ferrall and the Prophet podcast, we did a show for the first time in a month with this guy cruising all over the world, the Prophet. He's always gone on some vacation. He needs his rest, We gave you the Magic, and they got it done 113-105 over the Pistons. Banchero and Bane each had 25. And they lead that series now against the number 1 seeded Pistons 2-1. Banchero, 12 boards, 9 dimes. Wagner, 17. And they got 15 from Suggs, 14 points, 17 rebound. Game from Wendell Carter as well. Cade Cunningham scored 27 for Detroit. They trailed 96-79 with 8.5 left, then outscored the Magic 26-8 over the next 6 minutes to grab the lead. But the Pistons, who got 23 from Tobias Harris, couldn't hold on. Game 4 is Monday night in Orlando. Oak City buried the Suns. They're up 3-0. That series is toast. 121-109. Shea Gilgeous with a 42 burger with cheddar and maple bourbon bacon on it. Guy went off. Ajay Mitchell added 15. Jay Will was injured, of course. The Thunder beat the Suns easily. 3-zip lead now. Shai Gilgeous, the league's reigning MVP, is going to win it again. Hit 15 of 18 shots. He was all over the court, knocking down Jays. Caruso added 13 off the bench. Abe Lincoln had 10. That's Chet Holmgren if you're not following. He also had 7 rebounds and 2 blocks. The defending champs will go for the sweep in Game 4 on Monday in Phoenix. Dylan Brooks led the Suns with 33 on 11 of 21 shooting. Jalen Green added 26. It doesn't matter when you lose. I bet on the Knicks for you, and they got it done, baby. They controlled that game belly to belly, 114-98. Towns, a triple-double. OG had 22, 114-98. They tied the Eastern Conference Series at 2s. Town had 20, 10, and 10. Cat getting involved. The 11th-year All-Star became the 4th Knicks player to record a triple-double in a playoff game, joining Walt Clyde Frazier, Dick McGuire, and Josh Hart. The Knicks host Game 5 at the Garden on Tuesday night, and the series is now guaranteed to return to Hot Town for Game 6 in Atlanta next Thursday. They took control early through the first quarter, maintained the lead for the rest of the game. They were up 68-44 at the half, extended it to 20 by the end of the third quarter. Brunson, who had 19, they think, and he does, that they carried the momentum from a late surge in Game 3. He said, obviously we didn't win Game 3, but I think we played in the second half as a team as good as we could and propelled us to play the way we did tonight. We're trying to continue to push that forward. They had 2 straight 1-point losses, but now they finally win, and we bet on them and cashed that ticket. Boom. And the Minnesota win was 112-96. They lead 3-1. DeSumo, 43 off the bench like Ferrall. Ferrall on the bench. So they got him from the Bulls in February. They didn't know what they were getting. Now they do. A career-high 43, stepped up after Ant Edwards went down with the knee injury. It's not the bad knee. He has runner's knee in his right knee. Now he's injured the left knee. I think it is the left knee. And DiVincenzo also got hurt. And the T-Wolves still won the game. 112-96. They're up 3-1 in the series. Chris Finch, the coach. DeSumo was just out of this world, man. Just play after play after play. He made 13 of 17 shots, going 5 of 5 from three-point range, and all 12 of his free throws he hit in a season-high 42 minutes of burn. It was the best performance by a sub since Fred Brown scored 45 off the bench for Seattle in a loss to Phoenix in April of 1976. That's crazy. Couple of ejections late. The Joker and Randall, after Joker became angry when Jaden McDaniels made a meaningless layup with 2 seconds left, and then it started up. Jamal Murray led Denver with 30. I'll tell you more about the Nuggets later. All right, let's just get into baseball. Boston 17-1 over Baltimore. Big story there. They fired everybody on the Red Sox, the manager, all of his coaches, and what a bloodletting firing day for them. They were in Camden in Baltimore, and the owners fired everybody. 17-1, they win. They had 10 runs in the 9th inning. Seattle 11-9 over the Cardinals in St. Louis. 8 home runs in that game. Toronto 5-3 over Cleveland north of the border. Okamoto homers for the second straight game, whoever the fuck that is. San Francisco 6-2 over Miami in Oracle in the city. Casey Schmidt, a 2-run shot. Drew Gilbert and Ramos also hit solo shots for the Giants. In 10, Washington beat the White Sox 6-3. Nasim Nunez drove in 4 runs. Tampa 6-1 over Minnesota at the Trop. Shane Dirty McClanahan turned in 5 scoreless innings. The Rays are hot all of a sudden. How about San Diego? They're down 4-0 in Mexico City to the Snakes. They come back. They win 6-4. Mason Miller closes the door again with a 1-2-3 ninth. They get it done. They're going to play there again at high altitude. Texas 4-3 over the A's in Arlington. Josh Young, a 2-run shot in the 6th to give the Rangers the lead. They never look back. The Yankees are in first, 8-3. They beat the Astros in Houston. Wells, a go-ahead home run in the 7th inning. And the Yankees extended their winning streak to 8 games. Grisham and Caballero also with home runs for the Bombers. Kansas City lit up the Angels at the K, 12-1. Cole Ronald Reagan strikes out 11 in 6 innings. The Pirates beat the Brewers in 10, 6-3 in Milwaukee. Brian Reynolds had a go-ahead single in the 10th. Nick Gonzalez followed with a 2-run single. The Bucks get it done. Styling. How about my Pirates? They're 16-11. Shake it out. Ooh. Philly gets it done for me. How do you bet on Philadelphia? I took them at plus 115. I'll tell you why I did it. Because Zach Wheeler came back. That was the only reason. And he wasn't the reason they won. He's the reason that they stayed in the game. They were up 2-0. Then they were tied 2-2. Then they went up 3-2. Then it was 3-3. Then they went down 4-3. Then they tied at 4-4. Then they win it in 10. Bryce Harper had 4 RBIs, including a tie-breaking single in the 10th. And they snapped the 10-game skid in Atlanta. Zach Wheeler made his debut. He gave up 2 runs and 3 hits over 5 innings. He'd been out forever. And Albie had a 3 for 5 with an RBI. Harris went 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs. It doesn't matter. They lost. And we cashed that ticket at plus $1.15. Nice. Cincinnati 9-2 over Detroit at Great American. Sal Stewart's 3-run shot. He had 5 RBIs for the Reds. And the Dodgers beat the Cubs. I hit the Cubs at plus 140 for you on Friday night. I didn't want to go back to the well because they had won 10 in a row. I knew it would end. Dodgers spank them 12-4. They scored 6 runs in the 4th inning. And that was all she wrote. Hockey. Everybody loves hockey. Carolina swept the Senators 4-2 the final. 4-zip in the series. Stankoven scores again. He scored the go-ahead goal in the 3rd period. And the Canes sweep the first round series. Taylor Hall added a goal and an assist. Aho buried 2 pucks into empty net city. And that was all she wrote for the Senators. Brady Tkachuk had no points in the entire series. How about the game that I cashed a ticket on for you? Down 2-1, late in the 3rd, the Wild score, and then Matt Boldy scored on a deflection with 28 seconds left in the first overtime. So 19 and a half minutes into the overtime, Boldy scores, and they even the series. It was crazy. Foligno tied it late, and then they win it in overtime. And the Penguins get it done 4-2 in Philadelphia. They're going back to the Steel City for a Game 5 after they were down 3-zip in the series. Crosby with the first goal on a power play. A wheeling snapshot that gets past the goalie. And they were up 1-0. Then they were up 2-0 after Raquel Welch, our boy Raquel, gets a puck behind the net with the goalie back there fucking around with the puck. And it made it 2-0. And then they ended up giving up a goal late in the second. It was 2-1, but they got a Letang goal and a Dewar Scotch goal to make it 4-2. They'll play Monday night in Pittsburgh. They're down 3-1 in the series, but at least they didn't get swept, their pussy asses. All right, here's what we got going on a Sunday. Cleveland and Toronto in Scotiabank, north of the border. The Raptors getting 3.5, 220 and a hook is the number. 1 o'clock today on ESPN. 3:30 on ESPN, San Antonio and Portland. San Antonio's up 2-1 in the series. Portland's getting 5.5, 218.5 is the number. 7 o'clock on NBC, Boston and Philadelphia. The Sixers are down 2-1. They're getting 7.5, 213.5 is the total. 9:30 the nightcap on NBC. It's the Lakers at Rockets. Rockets are actually laying 4.5. They're down 3-0 in the series. 207.5 is the total. The Zurich in New Orleans, team tandem golf. The Fitzpatrick brothers with a 4-stroke lead. Now, if they win, Alex Fitzpatrick gets his tour card. Baseball, 135 Boston at Baltimore. Quinn Early against Bradish. 135 Philly at Atlanta, Nola and Sale. 137 Cleveland at Toronto, Ciccone and Corbin Burns. 140 Detroit at Cincinnati, Montero and Louder. 140 Colorado at the Mets, Quintana and McClain. John McClain. I think they're playing a double-header there today. In fact, they are. The second game is at 5:10. It's Dollander against Senga. All right, 140 Minnesota at Tampa, Woods Richardson against Jackson Dart. 210 Yankees at Houston, Heel against Arighetti. 210 Washington at the White Sox, Griffin against Hudson Stations. 210 Pittsburgh at Milwaukee, Madzinski against James Harrison. 215 Seattle at St. Louis, Hancock against Governor McGreevy. 235 A's at Texas, Ginn against John Rocker. Don't call me Kumar. 405 San Diego and Arizona again in Mexico City, King against Nelson Mandela. 405 Miami at San Francisco, Oscar Mayer against Raup. 410 Cubs at Dodgers, Imanaga against Robleski. And 720 on Peacock, Sunday Night Baseball. The Angels at Royals, Ty Detmer against Lugo. Hockey. Buffalo at Boston at 2 o'clock on TNT. It's a pick'em. 5.5 is the goal total. 4:30 on TNT. Colorado at LA. Colorado's up 3-0. By the way, the Sabres are up 2-1 on the Bruins. Colorado up 3-0. Game's at 4:30. 5.5 the total. LA's a big dog. Colorado's minus $1.70 for the sweep. 7 o'clock on ESPN. Tampa at Montreal at the Bell Center in Montreal. 5.5 the total. Tampa's favored, minus $1.16. They're down 2-1 in the series. And the nightcap at 9:30 on ESPN. Edmonton and the Ducks on the pond in Anaheim. Edmonton is favored, minus $1.35, and they're down 2-1. All right, so now it's time for Fast Forward for On Your Facial, where we give you all the stories that matter and stories that don't matter. So Ant Edwards is undergoing tests on his injured left knee. Man, he hyperextended it. He cranked it. I mean, he's out. That both knees are screwed up. And DiVincenzo, they're going to have to look at him as well. So tests on the knee that he injured last night. It's not the runner's knee that he's got in the right knee. And they had nothing but problems. DiVincenzo has been diagnosed with a torn right Achilles. He's finished. His season's over. A 1-year recovery. A devastating blow for the T-Wolves starting guard. Wow, that's even bigger, frankly, than the Edwards. Edwards, they don't know how long he's going to be out. They don't know yet how bad it is. He's got problems in both knees. And now DiVincenzo is toast. DeSumo of the T-Wolves, the first player in NBA history with 40-plus points, 75% from the floor, 5+ threes without a miss, and 10+ free throws without a miss in any game, regular season or playoffs, off the bench or not. That is crazy, that guy going off. You know, the Nuggets are down 3-1. NBA teams that trail 3-1 in a best of 7 are 13-285, just 4%. But the Nuggets shouldn't give up hope. They're the team that's done it the last 2 times, come back from 3-1. Denver did it against Utah in 2020, 4-3. Then they did it. That was in round one. Then they did it against the Clippers, 4-3, in the West semifinal the same year. That's crazy. So they're capable of doing it, but they blew it yesterday. With those guys out, Edwards, DiVincenzo, and you can't beat them when you're up at the half, you suck. The 26th NFL draft by conference. The SEC had 87, Big Ten 68, ACC and Big 12 38, Notre Dame 7, FCS schools 4, the American Conference 4, the MAC 4, the MWC, the Mountain West 3, Sun Belt 2, Conference USA 1, and International 1. There you go. Pat Riley doesn't call the shots with the Heat anymore. Nick Arison, the owner, is the guy, one of the owner's kids, is calling the shots now for the Heat. I guess Riles is too old now. Let's go back to the draft. Ohio State had 11 players drafted. A&M 10, Alabama 10, Texas Tech, Clemson, and Miami 9 players drafted. Indiana and Penn State 8 players. Georgia, Oregon, Washington, Michigan, Iowa, Florida, LSU, and Oklahoma all had 7 players drafted. Notre Dame, Texas, and Missouri 6 players drafted. Auburn and Tennessee 5, Arizona and Arizona State 4. So did Arkansas, Cincinnati, Kentucky, and BC with 4. So there you go. It's a lot better the way I do the draft recap than watching that fucking boring-ass NFL draft. That is like fucking picking teeth. Honestly, I'd rather pick my fucking nose and asshole than watch that draft. It is so boring. And then they bring in all of these idiots to announce the draft picks in the Saturday rounds. It's literally the most embarrassing thing I've ever seen. I'm serious. It makes me say, I couldn't watch it for 5 fucking minutes. That's how boring it is. You're sitting there and they watch all these idiot fans cheering for people they've never fucking heard of. What a joke. That 87 SEC players drafted the most by a conference in NFL draft history. By the way, Pittsburgh set a record, make it 805,000 people in attendance over 3 days of the draft. 805,000. Obliterating the previous record of a couple 100,000. Diego Pavia, the guy from Vanderbilt, becomes the first Heisman finalist since 2014 to go undrafted. This kid's such an asshole, too. He says, I don't want an agent. I don't want anybody taking my money. No one drafted your ass, bro. You're such a pain in the ass. Garrett Nussmeier is going to the Chiefs to team up with Patrick Mahomes. I don't believe that Mahomes isn't playing. I think he's coming back, and he's going to be playing when it matters. As for that bloodletting in Baltimore yesterday where the Red Sox ownership fired everybody, they fired Alex Cora, hitting coach Peter Fatsi, bench coach Ramon Vasquez, third base coach Kyle Hudson, and game planning coach Jason Varitek. They won the game. They're 10-17. They're in last in the East. So massive changes in Boston. They still owe this guy Cora, I think it's $13 million through 27. They owe him $13 million. And a lot of people think he can get a job managing in 5 minutes. A lot of people think the Phillies might fire Thompson and hire Cora. Let's see what happens. Anyway, here's the upcoming wave of NBA awards. The schedule: Monday, Rookie of the Year; Tuesday, Executive of the Year; Wednesday, Teammate of the Year; and Thursday, the Hustle Award will be handed out. There you go. Very exciting. By the way, Banchero in Game 3 against Detroit in Orlando, he had 25 points, 12 boards, 9 assists, and 3 steals. I've got your post positions for next Saturday's Run for the Roses, the Kentucky Derby in Louisville at Churchill Downs. Renegade is the favorite at 4-1, and the horse is on the post in the 1 slot. Albus in the 2 at 30-1, and Trepido at 50-1 in the 3. Litmus Test 30-1 in the 4. In the 5, Right to Party. You got a right to party. In 6, Commandment at 6-1. 7, Dan and Bourbon 20-1. 8, So Happy. Make me happy. I don't love to make me happy. 15-1, So Happy. In the 9, The Puma 10-1. In the 10, Wonder Dean at 30-1. In the 11, Incredible at 20-1. 12, Chief Wallaby at 8-1. 13, Silent Tactic at 20-1. 14, Potent at 20-1. 15, Emerging Market at 15-1. 16, Pavlovian at 30-1. 17, 6 Speed at 50-1. 18, Further Ado. A lot of people think that horse can win at 6-1. At 19, Golden Tempo 30-1. And 20, Full Effort at 20-1. Very exciting. The post positions for the Kentucky Derby next Saturday. How about this? Players working in no tax states. State income tax, the top 5 NFL draft picks will pay on their rookie contracts. Mendoza with the Raiders, 0. David Bailey of the Jets, $5.7 million in tax. Jeremiah Love, Cardinals, $1.3 million in tax. Carnell Tate, Titans, 0. Arvell Reese, Giants, $4.7 million in taxes. Megan the Stallion and Klay Thompson have broke up. They both are accusing the other of cheating on one another. So apparently they like to fuck other people. Ryder Cup tickets for the 2027 event at Adair Manor sold out in an hour on Friday, while practice round tickets were gone in 4 hours as the Irish golf fans took advantage of an exclusive purchasing window and bought all the fucking tickets. A second opportunity to purchase for fans worldwide is taking place on June 3rd. Will you be attending? No one will, because they're going to eat those tickets up too. Know that, right? Elijah Haven, the number 1 quarterback in the class of 2027, is committed to Alabama. He picked the Tide over Georgia. He's from Baton Rouge. Tennis star Taylor Fritz, who all the girls want to fuck, has broke up with his influencer girlfriend Morgan Riddle after dating for 6 years. Now he's going to move on to a fresh slice. After 3 years away from boxing and all of his eye problems, Errol Spence will travel to Australia to fight Tim Tszyu in his home country. The fight will air on July 25th in the U.S. Very exciting boxing news there. Paul Skeens' ERA went down again when he pitched the other day. On March 1st, his first start when he blew it against the Mets and got lit up, it was 67.50. In April, his 5 starts, his ERA's been 1.27. Now his overall ERA is down to 2.67. So it was 67.5. Then against the Reds, it went down to 9.53. Then against the Padres, it went down to 5.25. Then against the Nats, it went down to 4 flat. Then against Tampa, down to 3.27. And against the Brewers, it went down to 2.67. He is a fucking badass. Federal health officials reported that cases of flesh-eating bacteria parasitic infection continue to be detected near the U.S. That just sounds awful. A flesh-eating bacteria. Jesus. Arizona freshman guard Braden Burries is declared for the NBA draft. According to reports, former Panthers president Michael Yormark is close to becoming the next athletic director at the University of Miami for the Canes. It's all about the Canes, baby. It's all about the U. Yormark, or I keep calling him Yormark. Yormark is the twin brother of Brett, who's the commissioner of the Big 12. Anyway, there you go. I think that's it. I think it's very exciting that I gave you everything, right? Like, you got to be fired up about that. Make sure you watch the Prophet on the community for his max profit plays or whatever bets he puts up on a Sunday. I don't know what I'm doing. I swear to God, I could be doing the Elite and the Profit plays. Since the last 2 days, I've fucking gone Perfecto City 4-0 in Elite plays. I gave you 2 days in a row. 2-0, 2-0, boom, 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 boom. And then my Profit plays yesterday, 2-1, boom, boom. And so we went 6-1. He was up so many units, it's not even funny, like 3.6 units or something. And then I was up out the ass. Phillies plus 115, Padres plus 105. Yesterday we were 6-1, combo meal. You're loving life on profitable.tv. Keep an eye out in the community for all the plays and videos. You should be good to go on a Sunday. Let's make some money. Oh, shake head, ooh, shake head, ooh. They love Ferrall Unplugged. They just fucking love it, the fans. They fucking love it. They really do.